Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to World of Warcraft, the miniatures game. So I previously did a video you can check out where I kind of explain the rules, what is it, everything. This is going to be the start of part 1 of 3 where I'm going to go over the miniatures and their cards and abilities. So I'm going to do one for the Alliance, one for the Horde, and one for the monsters. Just because I don't have a full set, but I have enough of each that I didn't want to make this like a, 2-3 hour long video. I figured I'd just sort it out each one, that way I can spend a little bit more time on each faction, going through their abilities and talking about them a little bit. If you guys enjoy this, let me know. And then if I eventually pick up more of these and I pick up the rest of the figures, I can do the video with the rest of them. Otherwise, yeah, if you want to know what the game basically is, check out the first video. Quick summary is just, it's a, could be a 2-player, you could play with more players, but it's a skirmish miniatures game. You're going to take your minis, and they have various abilities, and they use a clock feature, so every action you take does, takes so many ticks of an action, and then your character doesn't get to perform an action again until the timer reaches that. So you gotta mix and manage your abilities with that. Alright, so without further ado, let's jump into this set. Alright, and we're gonna look at these in, we're gonna start with our Alliance in this set, and we're not gonna go in any particular order. So I'm going to have stuff from the core game, from the spoils, second pack, whatever order I happen to grab them. So I do like the miniatures on here. They're very detailed. I mean, granted, they could be better, but especially like in standard, you see some of the newer hero clips, or you see miniatures games like CMON puts out. They're probably a lot higher quality, or maybe a little bit better, maybe some of the paint jobs on here, but the fact is they were all pre-painted, so you don't have to paint any of your miniatures, which is really fun. Some of them have like clear pieces like that, which is really awesome. The bottom will tell you what their rarity is, what set it came from. Yeah, for being essentially a trading card, like a trading card type game with miniatures, these are very good for what they are. Even like Hero Clicks Daniel, I mentioned that when it started out, you bought them, you're like, oh, these are awesome because I have pre-painted, Marvel characters or DC characters or whoever. It was really cool. But then like you looked at you compare the originals to like the current ones, and the original ones are like, why did anyone buy these pieces of crap? That's essentially what these are. They look really good for what they were. In the painting, there's lots of details on there. For even just what the painters are, they're not the best, but to keep that price point at what they could so they could sell them like that, even still, is probably too high, which is probably why the game didn't do very well. Alright, so here we have Yana Dashlung, a Night Elf Druid. She has Starfire, she can always cast 4 ticks, 2 range with 5 arcane, and she can add a tick to the defender. And then Nature's Grasp. When adjacent enemy attacks Yana, put a -1 move counter on the enemy, remove that counter at the end of ticks 5 and 10. So that kind of helps her out. She gets to do stuff. And then all the characters come with 2 action bar cards. So that's what makes this really fun, is that if you buy, so like I have her as a druid, if I buy a different druid, I can swap the abilities to different druids, so my opponents might not know you have a druid, but they don't know what cards I'm going to use. That's why buying more cards definitely works for this, or buying more characters. So we have Moonfires. This is a debuff attack, cost 2 range, 4 power, crit does +1 damage. After the attack, attach this debuff to the defender. At the end of ticks 5 and 10, the debuffed character takes 1 damage. So I was incorrect in the explanation video on the debuffs. I thought they went away at the end of turn 10. They stick around until something removes them or the character dies. which granted this game I don't think characters last more than a few rounds, but that keeps the game quick. Yes, this is actually definitely not a bad one to have. And then she also has Moon King form. So she can transform into this, and she gets +1 armor, but she has to be a bounce druid. Only the bounce druids can use this. This does limit who is able to use it. Well, this character and adjacent allies are attacking. Their die rolls of 9 are treated as crits. So it gives you an extra crit option. This character can't play restoration cards while in this form. Yes, it's kind of neat. Gives you extra bonus, but you can't do restoring stuff. And then you can always exit out of your instant form at any time. So definitely a cool thing there. Alright, we're going to set her off to the side. Our next character, I'm going to apologize that some of these are a little dusty. I have them in a box. I don't know how they got dusty, but they did. But we have a Night Elf Hunter, Elana Starbreeze. Yeah, it's like, like the skull, the fur, like a lot of colors. Like, yeah, again, like could someone like a professional, like a full on all-time person have painted this a lot cooler? Like every little chain link would have been a little bit different, sure. But the fact is, I could pull this out of like a $7-8 pack. Like, that's definitely awesome. So, Elana Starbreeze is a Night Elf Hunter with Survival, Striker's Mark, 2 kicks, 2 to 4 range, 4 damage, 1 crit. Aspect of the Monkey. Elana may reroll 1 die while defending. Yeah, so that's definitely good. Not bad there. Being a Hunter class, she gets a summon called Blinky. I didn't get too much into the pets on the other video. Just to kind of reference it here, is that when you put a pet, they have their own little clocks and ticks. So if you have the miniature form, you can pull extra little base out. That's kind of nice. Just in that way you can keep track that way. If you don't, you'll just have to like keep on a piece of paper or something just as a reminder on what their ticks are, if you have a little token or something for them. But they start out the same tick as whatever your character was at, but then after that, they stay the same. Unless your character dies, they stay out. Or if they die. So we have a Warp Stalker. Bite. So 2 kicks, 1 range, and melee 2, and warp. Instead of moving, Blinky may teleport up to 2 spaces away. So it makes teleporting really great, because you'd be like, well, they can move 2 spaces normally anyhow, so what's the difference? Because they can warp, they can go past characters, through forests, through hills. They can basically essentially ignore terrain or anything that would be blocking them in the way. And then we have Master Tactician, a Survival Hunter. Survival Hunter only ability. During this tick, each ally may choose one of its successes to crit while making its first attack. So this would be it's an instant. When you attack, just go ahead and flick that, and then each ally may change one of its successes to a crit, so basically it's a forced crit every time. And then it's nice if you use it with your Blinky, he gets just plus extra damage every turn. So if you keep him near, so it kind of works nice. So that's the second character we've gotten with a specific class ability. Now, it's not going to always happen. We just got the unfortunate draw of that. Alright, up next we have Litor Frostburn. So if you watched the other video, we already saw her stuff. Yeah, you can see where the faces aren't always the best on there. I can't even get her to focus on her face properly because of that card in the back. But yeah, her face is kind of derpy. But yeah, that's what it is. It's just Frostbolt, 3/3, a 6 frost. Put a -1 move counter on defender. Remove it at the end of ticks 5 and 10 with frost armor. The attacker rolls any ones while attacking adds 1 to the attacker. So it's not going to happen very often, 1 out of 10 chance. But hey, it's better than nothing, right? So she is going to get 2 different abilities. She's going to get Frost Nova. It's an instant at 0, so she can keep using her other thing. She has this as a free backup, which is kind of nice. Adds 1 tick to each enemy, or to an adjacent enemy. So, this is what makes her kind of an interesting character. So she has a regular Frostbolt. She can hit 3 spaces away. And she can slow people down. Or if they do hit her, she has a chance of slowing them down. She can play this to slow them down. That's basically what her character is going to do. And then she also has a healing potion. So if she does take damage, she can heal herself. Try to roll for 2, and then on crit she can heal 1. Now, a character like this is also fun because you might be like, hey, I got different characters now. I can give someone else this healing potion who might need it, or something like that. So that's one reason to get her. Or get someone else that has a different mage ability and can give her different magic stats. That's like the collectible part of this is kind of fun. We're going to get another druid. Night Elf Druid. We have Moonshadow. I guess I didn't show off her. She was a common from the core. I think she's in there. So we have another Starfire. So now the question is now I have 2 druids with Starfire. Are they the exact same stats is my question. So, no. So this is also interesting. One's 3, one's 4, but they do the same damage though. But then the crit is different. So hers adds 1 attack or 1 tick to the defender, where Moonshadow's readies one of your action bar cards. So that's also fun. So even though they have similar abilities, they can play very differently. And then Elude's Blessing at the end of kicks 5/10, heal 1 damage from Moonshadow and 1 adjacent ally. It's just good. The other character is more of an attacking character. This would definitely be more of a defense character. So with that in mind, we are going to get our cards. We're going to get Rejuvenation, which has a range of 2 and a buff. At the end of kicks 5 and 10, heal 2 damage from buffed ally. Yeah, so you can go ahead and throw this on someone, and then, they can keep healing occasionally. Plus, if they're next to you, they can heal. And what if we need to get close to people, or if we need to attack, we have Cat Form. It gives us some magical resistance. It gives us Claws. It does give us a melee attack. And then, if we crit, we can make another melee attack. So this works a lot like the Tiger. And then it also has Stealth. At the start of this character's turn, if it has no adjacent enemies, it has +1 attack, and enemies can't react while it doesn't move more than 1 space this turn. So as long as it only moves 1 space, enemies can't react to it. Plus it has 1 extra attack. Yes, I think it's supposed to be combined, so it has +1 and enemies can't react as long as it doesn't move more than 1. So if it only moves a little bit, kind of sneak up on someone, and get some extra damage. Rolling 5 plus a potential extra 5 could be very powerful. Again, you could mix this with the other character. You could give someone Cat Form and Moon King Form. And have them just be swapping forms back and forth. Lots of little custom ability. We're going to look at a new class. We have Namra, our human priest. Here's all her stuff. And then she's a shadow priest. So she has Mind Flash. She has the darker side of magic of the priest class. I'm just gonna get rid of that, and we'll just focus on the cards. So 3 with 2 range and 5, the defender exhausts one of its action bar cards. And then Vampiric Embrace. When Namara deals shadow damage from an attack, heal 1 damage from Namara and each adjacent ally. So that's a fun way to heal. So it has to be shadow damage from her Mind Flay. So if she uses other priest abilities, she might not get that. But if we want to make sure she does, we can give her Mind Blast. So 3 with a power of 5, also a shadow, and crit, the defender exhausts one of its action bar cards. So that works much like her regular ability there, her Mind Flay, except this has a little bit better range, and it only costs 2. So it's like you could use this as potentially better, because it's going to do the exact same thing, but you can only use this once per 10 rounds. So there's 3 and there's 2, so there's 5 of your rounds right there. But it's kind of nice to use basically a better version of Mind Flay by using Mind Blast, but you only get it once each round. But then we also have Shadow Form. So this is actually cool because you don't usually think of the priest class as having forms. It gives her +1 armor and Shadow Priest only. This character's shadow attacks have +1 magic and can't play holy cards. So it does limit what she can do, but it also gives her that extra damage. So that could definitely be fun. And now if you get some other characters that have different shadow magic, she might have some different options to play with. Alright, we've only looked at women so far this game. I don't know why. So we're going to look at a guy. We have Baron Ember's Vein. It has a cool flaming looking sword, a nice bladed serrated shield, some big old massive armor, and now he's laying on the ground. Alright, and what does Baron do, or Baron? He has the Skag the Bloodletter. 3 clicks per 1 range at melee 5, and you can subtract 1 tick from if it crits, so you can use it more often. And he has fire resistance. Well, Baron is defending against fire attacks. He has +2 magic defense. So, kind of like the frost armor, it's very cool, but it could be very limited to when he gets to use it, because you're waiting for specifically a fire attack. But then he has Sunder armor. Zoom back out a little bit. So this is an instant debuff in Argo. Debuff character has -1 defense. Exhaust an armor or trinket card in the debuffed character's action bar. So what this does is not only do you just give them -1 physical defense, if they have an armor or trinket item card, or equipment card rather, not item, it will also exhaust them as well. So you can basically stop them from using some of their armor. And then he also has Mocking Blow, which we saw in the other video. So it's this 2 cost, and then target enemy takes 1 damage, and immediately makes an attack against character if able. Yeah, so basically 2 to do 1 free damage. Doesn't even need to roll for defense or anything like that. But then they get to hit you back. But that can also work in your favor if you can plan it right, because then it can force them to do extra ticks on their, because they have to pay any of their costs. It could force them to have to spend 2 or 3 ticks and then not be able to attack for a while. So it might be worth, maybe your guy, hey, he might die anyhow, or maybe he's at full health and he can afford a hit. Take the hit and then do that, or maybe have this and have a healing potion. Yeah, you could play some different strategies there. Oh, alright, we'll look at that guy later since I just threw him off the table. Alright, we have a human rogue Dralor. Got a big giant blade. Oh, the flowing capes. Lots of capes in this game. So So he has Iblis, a Blade of the Fallen Seraph, 2 kicks, 1 range for melee. Hemorrhage. If an attack would deal melee damage to an enemy adjacent to Graylor, it deals that +1. If an attack would deal melee damage to an enemy adjacent, that's even nice. It doesn't even have to be his attack. It just has to be next to him. And then he has Stealth. At the start of his turn, if he has no adjacent enemies, he has +1 physical might. Enemies can't react while he does not move more than 1 space. So yeah, again, if he can get in close, he can do some extra damage. I'm going to go with that for rogue abilities. He's going to have Blind, which is an instant debuff. Debuff enemy has melee magic -1 and -1 move. Remove this debuff at the end of 5 and 10. So it doesn't last super long, but it could be enough for you to, hey, I smacked a guy, and then now I can blind them, and I can try and get away, or you can blind them from a distance, and try and get a little bit closer before they can maybe hurt you. And then we have Distract. It's range 3, instant, move target enemy 1 space. So it's kind of all about, like, his character being a rogue. It's definitely about getting next to a guy or getting away from a guy. Alright, I'm going to try and speed this up a little bit, if we can. Our next guy is Boris Brightbeard. We have another priest, but now we have a holy priest. He's a dwarf priest. That's one thing I love about this game, though, Warcraft. Not just this specific game, but Warcraft in general. Is I like that it usually think like a dwarf. Like, oh, dwarves are usually like, a warrior type class, or maybe some a priest. Why not? Same thing, like you can have like skeleton priests. I love that. I love that you can have all this different things like that. It's Arcane Wand of Sylvanar. So 3 kicks, 2 range, 5 arcane. Deal 1 damage to each adjacent enemy. Heal 1 damage from Boris for each adjacent ally. So getting crits with him is really helpful. And then Dispel. So now he gets an extra ability in here, which is really fun. So he has spend 2 and 2 range, remove a buff, debuff, or counter from target character. So that's actually cool. So he's basically a good support character. He can do some damage from a distance. And if he hits that crit, he can heal your guys, damage adjacent guys if people are grouped together, as well as he can use Dispel to try and get rid of extra things on you. Then, if that wasn't enough, he has the healing spell. So you saw a healing potion, which only heals yourself. But now he has heal, but it was free to use. This cost 2 kicks to use, which can heal up to 3 range and do 5. And you can remove a debuff from the target as well. So definitely a different thing to do. And then he has Power Word Fortitude. 1 cost, 3 range buff. Buffed ally gains 1 health and heal 1 damage from it. Recharge. Ready this card at the end of kick 5. So this is really fun. You can play this right off the bat. Like, first turn, you can play this, boom. You have extra health. And then, like, you can play it again later and give someone health and heal them. So you make some fun different healing things that way. And again, you could give this guy other different spells if you wanted to instead of just healing. Alright, we have Dumfries, the Dwarven Hunter. So this seems more like a maybe typical dwarf class. I mean, look at that guy's big armor, big blunderbuss. Or the Grand Marshal's Hand Cannon, range 2 to 4, does only 2 damage, but it only costs 1 to use. So it's not super powerful, but it has decent range, and he can do it repeatedly. Ferocious Inspiration. Dumfries has +1 attack. Melee attack while attacking an enemy adjacent to his pet. So that's definitely the thing. Get his pet out there, and he's going to do extra damage. Who is his pet? He has called Bloodclaw. Pet Raptor. Bite for 2 kicks and 1 1 range with melee, and Hunt, blood cost +1 attack while attacking an enemy who has no adjacent allies. So even better if you combine these is that if he's attacking an enemy with no allies, he's going to do extra damage. And then Dumfries can have +1 if he's attacking an enemy adjacent to his pet. So if you have these guys running around together, instead of sending his pet like way off, they can do a bunch of extra damage. Or you can always give him a different pet if you get a character that has one. We have Hunter's Mark. Instant debuff. Debuff enemies can't have stealth, and allies making an attack with printed 2 or more against debuff enemy may reroll 1 die. So, he says 2 or more, so it also gives him a reroll if he can debuff them enemies. So definitely a good combination there. They did a good job of making these characters solid for each thing. Alright, up next we have Vindicator Hodum, the Guarini Paladin. So Guarini were added in a later set of Warcraft. They weren't the initial ones. They're like these blue, I don't know what you'd call them. I want to say like, not centaur, like satyr. Because they have like kind of like horse type limbs on the bottom, but they're all blue. Definitely a neat addition to the game. Paladins are, of course, kind of like your priest/warrior class. Hammer of Naru. 3 kicks, 1 damage. 4. Make a holy 4 melee against the defenders. That's actually good. So I'll hit both defenses. So even if they were really strong against the melee, you could always hit them with the holy, the magic, or vice versa. If they're strong against magic, you can at least get it. Even if they're strong, so you might at least have a chance of doing some extra one. Then he has Devotion or adjacent allies have +1 melee. So he's going to get in there and protect his allies. Then he has his Paladin abilities. A Flash of Light. 2 costs to heal for 4. And you can crit you ready this card, so he gets to keep using it if he can crit. But in case he wants to do more damage, he can have his Hammer of Wrath. Target only a damaged enemy, so it's kind of limited there. But, hitting for an extra 5 for 2 is definitely not bad. And crit, you can do 1 extra damage. So definitely a fun Paladin character. If we want to look at another Guarini character of a Guarini warrior, this one is, of course, a female. So I love that his has a giant hammer. She's got a giant axe. So this is Auroria. The Gladiator's Decapitator. 3/1 in 5. Put a -1 physical counter or armor on a defender. Anticipation. Auroria has armor and resist. +1 will non-negate adjacent enemies attacking her, so as long as someone's at a distance. And then Protector, if an adjacent ally would be attacking an enemy not adjacent to it, Auroria may become the defender instead. So now imagine like having the 2 greenies together. One could be healing the other one. She could be taking the damage. The other guy could be giving her bonuses for being next to him, plus his healing. She could keep taking the damage. He could keep healing them. So there's fun things like that. And then we have Heroic Strike, who has Instant Argo. We roll up to 3 dice starting this character's next melee attack. So again, let her run in there and do some extra stuff. And then, in case she has to worry, she has Dodge. This is a fun, because so far I don't think other than the healing potion, we haven't had any just generic ones. So these are always good because then you can add them to any character. So there's a React. Play only when an attack targets this character. This character has Resist and Magic +2. So yeah, combining that with, again, like her regular ability. So as long as it's a non-adjacent enemy, so someone hits her from a distance, she has +1. You can always have Dodge in there, so potentially having +3. for some of them attacks. Plus, you have another guy sitting around healing her. You could do some great combos there. Alright, up next we have our first elf. So, the Alliance get the Night Elves, and the Horde get the Blood Elves. This is also one thing I always thought was interesting about the way this is, because typically the Alliance is like your quote-unquote, like, pretty characters, or your humans, your dwarves, your gnomes, like the human lady looking like regular, and then your greenie eventually entered. But then you have the elves, but you have the night elves, which are blue, and then the horde, who's like your monster characters, your trolls, your orcs, your undead, and your taurens, your big beastie characters. Then they get the blood elves, which are the light-skinned color elves. It's kind of like that weird, that funny twist. The monster characters get the elf that could kind of almost, maybe it looks like it could maybe pass for a human. And the alliance gets the blue-colored ones. So you have Umbridge here, who is a night elf rogue, who has Gladiator Shanker. 2/2 with 4 with +1 damage on crit. Stealth, at the start of his turn, we've seen stealth before. So now he doesn't have anything super special there. Like maybe some other characters don't have, but that's alright, because he has a really cheap ability, and you can combine it with his rogue stuff. So he's got Mind-Numbing Poison. Debuff Poison. Debuff character pays 1 tick more to play non-physical abilities. Remove this at the end of tick 1. So you can get up, stab them, and then, or you can mind numb them, and then his next turn you can start stabbing them, because it only costs him 1. So it's actually not a bad combo. Get up next to him, hit him for 1, stab them, then next turn when your tick clicks off, do your regular attack, or do a different attack, and then run away. But he also has Sinister Strike, an instant attack. So this does 1 with power of 2, and you just ready this card on a crit. So again, you add this into his little combo there, run up, mind numb them, they're going to have to pay 1 to do non-physical abilities. So then you're going to get an attack rip. You go to use this right off the bat, and you stab them there at the second one, and then you can hit them next tick, hit them with your regular attack, and then start running away. And then you just gotta kind of survive around until you hit your thing. You could, oh look, hey, we hit turn 10, my cards refresh, run back over and do it again. It's kind of what rogues do, right? We're gonna look at, I think, our first gnome. We have Ruby Gemsparkle, who's an arcane mage. So of course there's gonna be little tinier ones on there. So like, if I'm comparing her to like one of the humans, so they did make them smaller in size. She's also got like that clear back on her. So she has Arcane Blast, 3/3 and 6 with 1 damage, no special abilities. But that's alright. So, because also adding too many special abilities also raises their honor. So if you're playing like a 10-point game, okay, you can use two characters, but like you start having guys, like lots of guys cost like 6, 7, 8. So let's say if you're playing like a 15-point game, I can include 3 5-point characters versus a like a 7-point and an 8-point character. That 1 extra character on my team might make the difference, even if they have less special abilities. But she's gonna get Ice Barrier, which is a reaction. Play only when an attack targets this character, prevent the next 2 damage it would be dealt to this character. So she has a Frost, and then she also has a Fire ability. She has Fire Blast, 2 and 3 instant attack, and deals 1 damage. Again, these instant attacks are fun because they don't cost anything. So, especially starting off the bat when your cards are face down, your opponent doesn't know you have them. So, boom, out of anywhere, you can all of a sudden, for free, on any turn, whenever, just pull off a instant attack and hit somebody. and then it sits around and they know, but then they also know it's sitting there. Crap, at any time this guy could hit me at 2 spaces away for this, so I kind of gotta dodge them. So that's a fun little thing you can do with those. Alright, we have another greenie, we have another priest, we have a discipline priest. And there's her, so I like this one. So the other two are purple, this one's white, or sorry, the other two are blue, this one's white, so I like that they do come in different colors. Instead of just always being just blue, which is interesting. So you have Anchorite Carissa. She has Smite, 2/2 or 3 holy. Carissa may pay 0 ticks to play Gift of the Naru immediately. So she can spend her gift on her. Otherwise, it costs. Normally, it costs 3, but it's a 2 healing. So she always has a healing ability. And then it's also all Dreamy allies may play this ability. So this is definitely a fun character. It only costs 4 honor, which is really great. So basically, she can always cast healing. She uses her Smite to attack. She pays 2 kicks. She hits a crit. She can heal for free. If she crits on that, she can actually remove one of her ticks, which makes it that much quicker that she can potentially play again, plus all her allies. So, I mean, if you combine this, like I was looking at them other 2 greenie before, the one guy had Paladin, so he could do damage and heal. The other one was basically to take damage. If you had all 3 of these guys together on a team, they can sit there and keep healing each other, doing damage. You could have some very interesting combinations. You have Lesser Prayer of Healing, so heal 1 damage from each ally, including this character. Just straight up heal everybody. I'm surprised it's not like an AoE, like a restriction. And we have Master Spell, which is AoE. Targets a space and 2 spaces adjacent to it and each other. Remove any number of buffs, debuffs, and counters from all character in the affected area. So this one just, cleans up everything versus just the adjacent character. Definitely cool. Alright, so then we have Human Warrior. We have Victoria Jenkins, which, with all this armor and its axe, this doesn't look like a Victoria. There's an axe with an eye in it, which also doesn't seem very, good guy-ish, as you think that these guys would be. Come on, focus. Dark Edge of Insanity, 3/1/4. Victoria may move the defender 1 space, and taunt, they must target her. Basically force them to get near you and then smack them heavily. To work with that, we also have Charge. Instant. This character has +1 move this turn, and add 1 kick to the next adjacent enemy this character attacks this turn. So not only do you get to move quicker, and then you get to make them have to delay their attack, then you can force them to attack you. Some interesting combos there. Plus Intervene. Play only when ally within range is targeted by an attack. This character switches space with that ally and becomes a defender instead. So it's all about taking that damage. Yeah, so definitely some fun things there. Let's see who we have up next. We have another Night Elf and another Druid. We have a Feral Druid. So we have Vigor Darkbreeze. I like their different poses too. That's also fun. They could, like where they don't just have guys just standing there, just holding a blade. So he has Wrath, 3/2/4, and he may teleport 1 space. So basically, hits you can move, and Leader of the Pack. While Vigor is in a form, allied attacks, including his, gain crit heal 1 damage from this character. Yeah, so extra heals definitely aren't bad. So talking about forms, we have a bear form. 1 armor and 1 health. And then Maul with 3, 1, and 5, +1 damage and taunt. You can see the difference between the 3 different forms. Between the cat, the moon what was it called? Why am my brain? Not Moonfire, Moon King. Moon King also gains you armor, but it doesn't. But this one actually gives you an attack. The cat one, yellow gives you move. They each do a little bit different stuff. And then he also has a lacerate. Now this is actually fun because it's not only is it's not class druid only, it's also bear form only. So range 1 up to 5 lacerates can affect a single character. Till the end of ticks 5 to 10, debuff character takes 1 damage. And then recharge ready this card at the end of tick 5. So basically this guy turns into a bear, spends 0 to switch to bear form, then flips over lacerate, and spends the next 5 ticks, as long as he's next to a guy, hitting them. Then every time they gain one of these, they're gonna gain, at the end of tick 5, they could take 5 hits, or at the end of tick 10, they could take 5 more hits. And then you can ready this and do it again. Or you can always do some other attack, and then add like 1 or 2 extra hits in there quick, or hit 1 or 2 quick, and then do this. So it's actually kind of a neat little thing, but you only go with a bear. So I don't think that there's different forms. I don't think that there's like multiple bears, like 2 different bear cards. I think there's just one, and it's shared between all of them. We have a human warlock. It's your first warlock we've seen. Amon Darkheart, which this guy screams warlock. She's one of those classes that's typically horde, but then like one race always got it. I think it's like priests are always alliance, except for the undead can also use priest, and I like that they did that too. So yeah, there's some that classes that were semi-exclusive. He has Shadowbolt, 4/3 with a 6 magic attack. The defender exhausts one of its action bar cards, and life tap instant, deal 1 damage to Amon. He pays 1 tick less to attack his next action this turn. Pay a minimum of 1 for his actions, used only once per turn. So basically he could spend 3 health to drop his attack down to 1. If you want to. He has 10 health, so using this ever so often might not be bad. Plus you have a healer sitting around. You can always maybe at least afford to do it like 1 or 2 to make his action go a little bit quicker. Interesting combo there. And then he has a corruption debuff. At the end of ticks 5 and 10, deal 2 damage to debuffed enemy and recharges at the end of tick 5. And then he has a summon. Summon Hurricane, which is a Void Walker. 3 armor, 1 resist, 4 health, and claw attack. 3, 1, and 2, and he has taunt. So it's even better. So he can take his own damage, then he can throw his warlock, or his pet Void Walker, who can taunt enemies. So they'll be going after him. So him spending his extra health isn't that detrimental to him. Alright, then we have a Night Elf Hunter. We have Marksmanship. This guy has, I like it as this weird Wrath-Tide Longbow. It looks like 2 manta rays stuck together. It's interesting. So 3, 2 to 4 with range of 5 range. Make a 3 ranged attack. It's funny just to shoot a second time. And Truce Shot Aura. Attack roll 3. Attack rolls of 3 are successful. Well, Eldras adjacent to allies and adjacent allies are attacking. So now it hits, but other allies get 3, so that makes your crits or your attacks even easier to hit. Then if he needs a better thing is Arcane Shot. Instant. This character's next range attack this turn becomes an Arcane attack instead. Also has crit ready Arcane Shot. So this is definitely cool because then what he can do is he can do 5. But in case he's shooting someone that has high armor defense, he can turn it to a magic. And do extra magic damage. And it doesn't just have to be that. Again, if you equip him with a different action card that does something, you can get some different effects that way. But instead, he gets Call Fury, which is the pet tiger. 1 armor, 3 resist, 3 health with Claw and Ferocity. Move 1 and has move 1. But yeah, no, definitely not bad. Extra pets are kind of cool. Definitely a neat thing. Alright, we're going to look at our second gnome. We have Teemo Shadestep, a gnome assassin, which, when you think about it, tiny little gnomes make sense to be assassins. He has this giant serrated blade, and then like this other bigger blade here, like a spike thing. He definitely looks cool. Again, the eyes are always kind of funky on these things. Perdition's Blade, 2-1 with 3, crit does 2 extra damage. Malice. Teemo's guy rolls a 9 or triggers crits while he's attacking, so he can potentially do that extra, and he has Stealth. So, to go with his Stealth, let's give him Ambush. Play only if a character has Stealth, and this character's next attack this turn also has 1 attack and crit plus 1. So, yeah, fun thing is, look at that, is you activate this instant. So his next attack, if he does his Perdition's Blade, it currently has, you roll 3. If you crit, which you can crit on 9, so you have easier chance to crit, he does 2 damage straight off the bat. So he could potentially, if he rolls good with his 3, he could potentially do 5 damage. This gives him 6, and if he crits, he could do 7. So he could go up to 7 damage, but then also he's Stealth. So if he's next to a guy, he does 1 more. So he could do 8 damage, potentially, in this one combo. If you get crits and you're Stealth and you're in the right spot. So, I mean, running up and doing 8 damage, that's going to take out most characters in one hit. That's definitely crazy. And then he also has Sprint, which is another instinct. So he gets +1 move and it doesn't break his Stealth. So he can even Stealth from farther away to get his extra ability. He can Stealth. He gets 1 extra movement, plus he can Stealth from, so essentially move 3 spaces and Stealth, and then roll some crits and do potentially up to like 9 damage. So that's crazy. Just runs in, hits everybody. Again, like the other rogue, you do it, then you get the hell out of there. And then you wait till your stuff respawns. So here we have a generally shaman. I don't know if we've seen a shaman yet. Well, there's a double axes. I always like double axes as a weapon. Enhancement, Gladiator's Cleaver. 3-1 with 5. If he crits, make a 1 range magic attack. And he has Heroism, Instinct. Eximos, sorry, I didn't even say his name. Eximos the Redeemed. He starts the game with a Heroism counter. So, the first time I've seen counter listed. Remove a Heroism counter, subtract 1 kick from Eximo, and each kick is an ally. So, he'll like get, as far as I know, there's no way for him to get that counter back. But, yeah, that's, at least it starts to always once per game. He can just automatically give everyone less. It's kind of not that great that it's once per game. Like, if it refreshed at the end of tick 10, maybe. Or if he died. If it respawns when you die. When you respawn, maybe it re-pops back in and double check rules. We're actually going to see 2 other things we haven't seen yet. We're going to see our first totem. We have Magna Totem. Or Magma Totem. So totems just sit on the field, they don't do anything, they don't block line of sight, they don't stop movement, anything like that. But they do have health, so you can take them out. But that makes someone have to waste an attack trying to take this out. All you have to do is roll 1 hit, there's no defense or anything, but they just have to spend it. What if they don't? It says at the end of ticks 5 and 10, make a 4 fire attack against each enemy on or adjacent to its base, and crit deals 1 damage. So if they don't spend time taking this out, they're going to potentially keep taking damage, or they have to keep walking around this totem. So if, like, you have a good choke point where, like, there's some hills or forests, so they either have to go through them or they have to go all the way around. You can put this in between that opening, or put this on top of the VP spot. Hey, you guys want to stand next to this VP spot? Go ahead, but you're going to take damage unless you waste 1 attack doing this. And the thing is, if it's a full tick, they have to waste like a 2 or 3 cost tick, or maybe an action bar card. So they are definitely worth it. Then there are other things. We have a weapon. Now this is an epic weapon here. It's orange text. It's Sulphurous, the Hang of Ragnaros. It gives you 4 honor, so it makes him more powerful, but it can only be used by a Death Knight, a Shaman, a Paladin, or a Warrior. I don't think we've seen any Death Knight characters. I don't even know if I have any Death Knights, to be honest. When this character takes damage from an attack, the attacker takes 1 damage. And then you can spend 4 for 1 to deal 8 melee, and crit make a 3 fire attack against the defender. So yeah, super powerful, does a lot of damage. Other things, you start face up, so your opponent will know you have it, unlike your other action bar cards. But it does add the 4 honor, so he already costs 7. So if you equip him with this, he's 11. So if you're playing like a 15-point game, and he's already 11, you can only play another 4-cost character, where again, your opponent might be able to play 3 5-cost characters, which might make up that little bit of a difference. Alright, 4 characters left to go. We have Harnum Firebelly, a Dwarven Priest. He's a little, like, Shaman Balrog. I don't know what that is, like a little mage staff, but then he has his little axe as well. It's a combat mage. So, our dwarf is going to do Holy Fire, 3/2 with 4, heal 1 damage from Harnum for each adjacent ally, and Flash Heal. Can heal 2 at 3 range, and he critically heals an extra damage. Just straight up healing priest. Nothing wrong with that. He's got Lesser Prayer of Healing. Heal 1 damage from each ally. So we may have already seen this one. So this is what happens is some of these characters have... Yep, we've already had this one. So this is the first duplicate card we've got. And you look at how many different characters we went through. This is the first card we've got that's duplicated. Although some cards are going to duplicate from these guys to the Hordes and they share the classes. Like, again, if they only made one version of Bear Form, you're going to get the same one and the other one. Yeah, not every character has 100% unique cards, but a lot of them do. And usually if they don't, the other card they have is pretty unique, which is this one. We have Doomfinger. So Priest, Warlock, or Mage weapon, who has Channel 1. It says pay 2 and do 3 damage, deal 1 damage to target enemy. So what channeling does is when you're paying for it, you have to pay that tick every turn, and you can't do anything else in between it to use it. So he has to spend 1 tick to even be able to use this. Then he can spend the additional 2 to do his attack. At 3 range, he deals 1 damage. So it's not like you have to roll, it just straight up does 1 damage. But then his next turn, he still has to pay 1. And he has to keep paying 1 every turn just to even have this ready to go. And anytime he moves or plays a different ability, he doesn't get to use this anymore. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. But the other guy, he had... So his 3 plus 7 gives him 10. So if he's playing a 15, you're only going to get, that 1 extra character. So items do give... make the game a little bit more difficult. Not difficult. Give you different options. Let's put it that way. We have Gracias. Human Paladin Protection. He's the only guy with like a normal cape. Look at the size of his sword. Now, I do feel like they didn't always keep all these characters the same size. Like, I think some of the humans are bigger than others. I guess they're about the same size. It just feels like some of these characters are a lot bigger, but maybe they're supposed to be. So he has Quelsrar 3-1-4 melee damage, but he adds a kick to the defenders and Blessing of Sacrifice. When adjacent ally would be dealt damage in attack damage, the first 2 damages dealt to grasses instead, so he can take some damage. To help with that, he has Avenger Shield, Protection Paladin only. Does range 2 and does 5. So it says AoE, target a space and 2 spaces adjacent to it and each other. And then add crit, you get to add 1 kick to the defender. It's kind of weird. It says shield, so you think it's a defense. It's actually a full-on attack. It does AoE at a distance of 2 plus 2 spaces. So he can take damage, but he can definitely deal some back out. But he also has Flash of Light, which will let him heal. And if you crit, you get to ready this card. Nothing wrong with healing. We have a Dwarven Paladin with Retribution. Saving Light Guard. This guy's got a giant maul. I love it. So he says Grand Marshal's Demolisher. 4-1 does 7 melee. Crit damage plus X, where X is the number of damaged allies. So every time your allies get hurt, he's going to do more damage. But again, it's number of allies, not the amount of damage. So again, if you're playing like a small point game, and you only have 1 other character, it might only be +1. But you have 2 + 2, but still that's a lot. +2 is up to 9. There's Blessing of Wisdom. Each adjacent ally may pay 1 tick less to make magic attacks. Pay a minimum of 1. If it does, also add 1 tick to salvage. So basically, he can spend 1 of his ticks to make somebody else a magic attack go a little bit cheaper. And then he's going to have a Blessing of Protection, which is a reaction play only when a physical attack targets his character or an adjacent ally, negate the attack. Just straight up, nope. So we just had the other paladin who could take damage. You could play this with him. Hey, I'll take your damage instead. And then you can, boom, play this just to negate it anyhow. And then we have Cleanse. Removal a debuff or counter from target ally, recharges at tick 5. So again, we've only seen that 1 counter. Some of there's still questions on whether they were planning on maybe additionally be like, oh, we're gonna have like years of expansions for this, so we'll have more stuff added later. And then it just didn't happen. Not for sure. Alright, our final character for the Alliance is Prophet Velkin, Greeny Shaman Elemental. Oh, I'm destroying everything here. It's this guy, yeah, he's got... The only guy I think I've seen that doesn't have a weapon. Like, he's just, like, holding his hand out. Like, I'll just cast spells with my hand. He does Lightning Bolt, 3-3 with 6. Each damaged enemy takes 1 damage. And then Call Fire, when a non-pet ally, including his character, is destroyed, each enemy takes 1 damage. And then he's our first legendary. So he's double VP when destroyed. So he's E for Epic. So he's one of our super epic characters. And he also does double. So he has 10 with 10 health. So he's a little bit more powerful. He's got Chain Heal to go with it. So this is awesome. After this heal, make a 2 heal targeting a second ally adjacent to the first, and then 1 to a target allied third ally. All 3 heals have crit heal 1 additional damage. So you just roll 3 dice to heal, then roll 2 to heal a second character, then roll 1 to heal a third character, as long as they're all next to each other. And if you crit, all that goes up by 1 each. And that works really nice. He kind of works with his other abilities too, because he has, hey, if they do die, boom, everyone's gonna take extra damage. And then enemies are damaged. So his ability kind of goes against that. Because like, he can do lots of healing, but his attacks are all about doing damage. But because he's a legendary, he gets his special ability only he can use, Prophet Velen only. Instant attack, make a 3 magic nature attacks against each enemy adjacent to one or more of Velen's allies. On crit, plus 1 damage. So yeah, that's kind of like, he's like, hey, I want allies, I want to do some stuff. But again, there's also one of the things you have to play with a higher point game, because he starts with 10. So if you're only playing a 15, not going to be that good. I'd probably say you might want to play like a 20-point game. Have somewhere, again, between, the rule book said you have somewhere between 2 to 5 characters. So if you play a 20-point game, unless you're playing 2 legendaries characters, which are generally 10 costs, that will get you roughly about 3 characters. Either, and if you have 2 8s, that's 16. You can have a 4 cost, to put you up to 20. So yeah, probably about 2, maybe 3 characters, but if you're playing a bunch of cheap characters, a bunch of 5s, you can have a lot more if you're playing that. But then again, the addition to the equipment and that can make a difference as well. Alright, so that was our World of Warcraft miniatures alliance. So check out the Horde, and check out the monsters, and check out the how to play as well. And let me know if you guys like this. See you later. Bye.